you ever wondered if there was a right and a wrong side to your cross-stitch fabric? And if so, how can you tell? The short answer is that technically yes, there is a right and a wrong side. But from a practical point of view, it's mostly not going to matter which you use. So I'm going to explain some ways that you can identify the front and back and talk about those few times when you might want to know this. Hi there, Stitchy friends. I'm Kat from Catkin and Lily, bringing you all the best tips, tricks and tutorials so you can get the most joy from your stitching. Now, the fabric you use for cross stitch, whether that's Aida, evenweave or linen, will have been woven on a loom. So technically the top side of that is the front or the right side of the fabric. But it can often be so hard to tell the difference that it doesn't matter which side you use. If you really want to know, the easiest way is if it still has the selvage attached. So this is the tightly woven piece with little holes along it, and if it's Zweigart, it usually has the orange band running along there as well. And it's the holes on here that are the giveaway, because where the holes have a raised edge and a sort of bumpy feel, that's the back. On the front side, the holes are much smoother. Now, if your fabric doesn't have a selvage, you may be able to feel that the front of the fabric is a little smoother or looks smoother or shinier, and the holes may seem clearer. Some stitchers say they can feel that the needle goes through the holes of the fabric more easily when working with the front side on top, but I can't say I've ever noticed this. In terms of when it might matter to know which is the front and back, the most obvious situation is when working with printed fabrics like this that have been printed just on one side. So that's fairly obvious which side is the front and which side you want to stitch on. It's also worth inspecting your fabric before you start stitching to see if there are any imperfections or maybe even a dirty mark, so you can make that the back of your work. Now, this is particularly useful for linen because it's a natural fibre, so it makes it more likely that there will be bobbly bits or maybe even slightly different colour bits. So on here, for example, there's a very slight discoloration and bobbly bit here, which is a bit less noticeable from this side. So it's worth having a look to see which side you want to stitch on. Now, if you have hand-dyed fabric that's coloured on both sides, again, you might just want to have a look at each side and decide which one you prefer the look of. The bottom line on this is that if you can see a difference in the sides of your fabric and you prefer one side over the other, then use that. And if you can't tell, then it doesn't matter. Let me know in the comments if you've ever wondered about this, or if you've had a situation where it was crucial. And if you enjoyed this quick tip, then please give this video a thumbs up and of course subscribe so you can stay in the loop for more stitchy tips and tutorials. Thank you so much for watching and happy stitching!